In Parashat Tetze, we learn about returning a lost item. Pasuk says in Dvarim Chav Beis, Pasuk Gimel, V'chen ta'aseh lecha moroi, v'chen ta'aseh lesimlosoi, v'chen ta'aseh lechol aveidas achicha, sher tovad mimeno umtzasah, lo yisuchal lehisalem. If you find your brother's lost item, cannot ignore, you must return it. The Gemara Baba Kama Daf Kuf Yud Gimel Amud Beis teaches us, Aveidas Agoy Muteres. If you find an Aveda of Agoy, you're allowed to keep it. And the sources from this pasuk, Minayin le'Aveidas Aknani she'im Muteres, she'ne'emar lechol Aveidas Achicha. The Torah said the item that was lost by your brother, le'achicha atamachzir ve'i atamachzir laknani. You must return it to your brother, but you don't have to return it to someone else. So if one finds an Aveda of Agoy, he doesn't have to return it. There is an amazing story in Yerushalmi Bab Mitzia Perek Beis Halacha Hey, a tremendous Kiddush Hashem that was caused by returning a lost item to a Goy. The Gemara tells a story about Reb Shmuel Bar Sosartai. He came to the city of Rome, and the queen lost her jewelry, and he found it. The queen announced, whoever will return this, what I lost, my jewelry, within 30 days will get tremendous reward, but whoever will return it after 30 days will be decapitated. What did Shmuel do? He did not return it within the first 30 days. He returned it after the 30 days, and he wanted to show her that he's not doing it because he wanted her reward. He is doing it just because of the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda, returning a lost item. So the queen tells him, were you in the country when I announced what I announced? He says, sure. And she asks him, did you not hear what I announced? He says, of course I did. So the queen asks him again, what was the announcement? And he tells her, whoever returns it within 30 days will get this and this reward, but whoever does return it afterwards will be decapitated. So the queen asks, so why didn't you come within the first 30 days? And Reb Shmuel tells the queen, because I didn't want you to say that I returned it to you because I was afraid of you. I only fear HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And the queen answers and she says, Brich Elahon de Yehudai. Praiseworthy. Blessed is the God of the Jews. But we should wonder about this story. How is it that Reb Shmuel Bar Sosartai was allowed to put himself in a place of danger? Pikuach nefesh. So a person allowed to risk himself. This is a queen decreeing something. It's very easy for her to fulfill her wish and to decapitate him. Is he allowed to do this in order to cause Kiddush Hashem in something that he's not obligated? Because as we said before, Aveidas Agoy, if a goy loses something, one can keep it. So perhaps we can bring a raya to this from the story about the convert, Graf Pototsky, Avraham ben Avraham, the Ger Tzedek. They wanted to burn him at stake, and he was led in the cities of Vilna. The Jews of the city were very scared of revenge of the Christian, their neighbors, and therefore they were in their homes. They closed the doors, they didn't even open the windows, they were terrified. But when the convert came to the house of the Gaon Mivina, he passed right by his house. The Gaon opened the window and yelled to him, Reb Avraham, go quickly. Reb Avraham, go quickly. So some explain Reb Avraham had a suffix, he had a doubt in his heart. Is he supposed to walk slow and to gain a few more minutes of life? Pikuach nefesh. Or maybe because he's about to perform the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem, the greatest mitzvah, he should go quick because Zrizin Magdimin LeMitzvahs, and to increase the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. And the Gaon came out and decreed for him, the halacha is, you better go quick. B'kadosh Shem Shamayim. But perhaps we should reject this proof because there is a difference between our story and this story. The story with the convert, Graf Pototsky, the Ger Tzedek, there was already a decree to kill him. And it could be that the decree will be cancelled. And Chazal say, Afilu cherev chada munachas al tzavaro shel adam. If a person has a knife on his neck, he shouldn't despair. Eli yisyash. However, b'derech hateva, Avraham ben Avraham was about to die in Kiddush Hashem, and he had the option to increase the mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem by doing it faster. Therefore, the Gaon told him, go quickly. But in our story, Reb Shmuel Bar Sosartai was not standing in front of a death decree, so why did he risk himself? So perhaps we can bring a raya from Brachos. Samech Aleph Amud Beis, Chazal say, Tanu Rabbanon, פעם אחת, גזרה מלכוס הרשע שלא יעסקו ישראל בתורה. The Romans decreed that Klal Yisrael are not allowed to learn Torah. And Papus ben Yehuda comes and he finds Rabbi Akiva, that he gathers groups of people and he teaches them Torah publicly. And he asks Akiva, Malchus, Rabbi Akiva, are you not afraid? You know what they're going to do to you? Why did Rabbi Akiva do this? Again, there seems to be a difference, because in the time of Rabbi Akiva there was a Gzeras Shmad Alam Yisrael. He wanted to destroy Klal Yisrael, so Rabbi Akiva wanted to make sure. To ensure there is Torah that's going to be transferred to the next generations, and there was a tremendous Kiddush Shem Shemayim with what he did. But the main reason for what he did was to teach Torah, because that is the source of our life. As it's clear from what he said to Papus ben Yehuda, he gave him a mashal. Rabbi Akiva says, a mashal for a shual shayam melech al gavana. There was a fox that was going on the riverbanks and he saw the fish, looked very nervous. So the fox asked him, why are you so nervous? Why are you jumping around? And they told him, we're afraid. The fishermen, they're going to come. They're going to catch us. So the fox says to him, maybe you want to come here and come up to dry land and we'll live together just like our forefathers lived together. And they tell him, are you the ones that they say you're so wise? You're the wisest of animals. You're not wise. You're a fool. And the fish explain themselves. If in the place that we normally live in the water we are afraid, in the place where we die, dry land, how much more so? And Rabbi Akiva says to Papas ben Yehuda, so too are we now that we learn Torah, we're afraid. And about the Torah it says, if we separate from Torah, how much more so we should be afraid of it. The Maharshal there explains that Rabbi Akiva was Moiser Nefesh, and he risked himself for Bittul Torah, because it was Sh'as Hashmad. And it's Sh'as Hashmad, when they want to destroy Klal Yisrael, even on mitzvah kalana, as if a light mitzvah, person should rather be killed and not transgress. And the Maharsha adds that this was in Parhesia. This was in front of many. It was publicly, and there is a difference. Because in Parhesia, even on mitzvah kala, yehareg ve'al yavo. In the Akdama to Sefer Birkas Shmuel, he writes, he explains that Papus explained to Rabbi Akiva, what are you doing? You want to learn, keep learning, but do it privately. But Rabbi Akiva answered him, that learning by yourself when you can't teach others is Bittul Torah. And just like the fish don't risk themselves drowning in the water, they need the water because that is where they live. So too, us, when we learn Torah publicly, it's not a risk. The risk is when we cancel and when we don't learn Torah, because that is our life. The Rambam writes in Hilchos Rotzeach, Perek Zayin, Halacha Aleph, Chayei ba'alei chochma mevakshea belo talmud Torah kemisu achashuvim. One who seeks wisdom without Torah, it's not a life, it's considered death. But in the Maaseh with Reb Shmuel Bar So Sartai, there was no Sh'as Hashmad. There weren't decrees on Klal Yisrael. They didn't try to destroy the nation, so it seems that Reb Shmuel didn't have to risk himself in order to return the item. The jewelry of the queen. But the Gaon Mivilan Yoredea Simen Kuf Nun Zayin, Seif Gimel brings a raya from Shvis. Over there we learn a story about Rabbi Abba Bar Zimna. He was a tailor by a goy in Rome, and the goy brought him a basar nevela, treif piece of meat, and he told him, eat this, and if you don't, I'll kill you. And Rabbi Abba told him, if you want to kill me, but I'm not going to eat the meat. And you have to assume this was privately in the house of the goy, so why did he do this? Why did he risk himself? But the goy says that when the goy is trying to convert the Jew, then you're allowed to do so. In fact, then you have to do so. So some explain that Reb Shmuel Bar Sosatai was in a dangerous situation anyways, because if he would not give her back the jewelry, because as we said, Aveda Sagoy, you're allowed to keep. Maybe this would become public knowledge, because something that belongs to the queen, it makes noise. People find out about it, and then the queen would send to kill him. So this way, when he waited for the end of the 30 days and he came to the queen, he gave her back what she lost. He showed clearly that he's not interested in keeping her jewelry. On the other hand, he also showed her that he could have returned it until now, but he didn't, only because he wanted to return her jewelry because he's afraid of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and not of her. But at the beginning of the Maaseh, it says that he went to Rome. If he went to Rome, that means he didn't usually used to live there. Perhaps it makes sense to say that he could have left Rome and then the queen wouldn't know that he is the one who found her jewelry, so he wouldn't put himself in danger. Also, we should reject this because Rav Shmuel could have been Mekadesh Shem Shemaim without risking himself, because he could have gone to the queen within the first 30 days and say to her, my dear queen, I don't want your gift. Here is your jewelry back, and I'm only doing so because Kodesh Baruch Hu told me to return lost items, and Kodesh Baruch Hu will pay me. And he would have been Mekadesh Shem Shemaim without risking himself. So my friend of Sasmon Shlita explained that perhaps we should say, in the beginning of the story, as we said, it says of Shmuel, Salak leRomi, he went to the city of Rome, meaning he wasn't from the people who live there. So maybe we should say, if the queen wouldn't accept what he says, he could have used a concept called migoy. Could have explained to her, since I could have lied, and I could have told you, no, I didn't hear the announcement because I don't live here, and I didn't lie. So now you should also accept what I say, and don't kill me. But perhaps we can reject this as well, because it could be that in the gates of the city of Rome there were guards that rode exactly at the time when visitors came in, people who come into the city, and that means Rav Shmuel could not lie to the queen and tell her he didn't hear the announcement. Also, it could say that even if Rav Shmuel would use this migoy, since I could have lied, who said she would accept this? And the question comes back, how is it that he was allowed to risk himself? Shabbos Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph Chazal say, Le'olam lo ya'amod adam b'mkom sakana lo ima she'osim lo nes. A person should not put himself in a dangerous place and say, well, Kodesh Baruch Hu loves me, he's going to perform a miracle for me. Why shouldn't you do this? Shema en oisim lo nes, because maybe Kodesh Baruch Hu is not going to perform a miracle for him, and even if he does, ve'im oisim lo nes, menakin lo mizchuyosav, they deduct from a person's good deeds, from his merits. So too, a person is not allowed to cause others to be in risk, even though he's a great tzaddik and he thinks a miracle will happen to him. That is what we learned in Tanis Daf Chaf Amud Beis. But when he is certain in his tzidka, we find sometimes that they relied on it. Nachum Ish Gamzu in Tanis Daf Chaf Aleph Amud Aleph says to his Talmidim, get everything out of the house and then my bed, because I guarantee, Muvtach lachem, as long as I'm in the house will not collapse. The daughters of Tzlofchad did not marry for 40 years until they find the right person. Bab Basa Daf Kuf Yutes Amud Beis, and the Rashbam writes over there, Betuchos betzidkasan sheyaseh lahem nes keyochevet. They were certain that because they were tzaddikas, Kodesh Baruch Hu will perform for them a nes just like Yochevet, and that is why they delayed 40 years. That is what the Rashbam says. Rabbi Chanina ben Dosa, he was in a certain place and he put his hand where there was a very lethal animal. He was sure that nothing will happen to him because not the animal is what kills, it's the sin that does that. And a miracle will perform for him. But there could be that it's different because it was Hatzalas Harabim, this animal was killing, damaging many people. So based on this, the Bitzchak Simon, my friend, says perhaps, Rav Shmuel said, it was clear to him, a nes will be performed for him. He will escape punishment, and that is why he did what he did. But we should ask, again, he could have done the same thing, Mekadesh Shem Shamayim, without risking himself, go within the first 30 days and say to the queen, I don't want your gift, all I want is to return your item, your lost item, the jewelry, because that is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded me to do. He would have been Mekadesh Shem Shamayim without risking himself at all. So it seems that we must say that this Maaseh in the eyes of Reb Shmuel was not considered Sakanas Nefashos, because he apparently knew the queen, that she would be reasonable, that she would accept what he says, and after she hears his answer, she will not kill him, and there will only be a Kiddush Shem Shamayim. And similar to this svara we find in the Magen Avraham, and a Gemara in Lamed Beis Amud Beis in Brachos, there is a story. Tanu Rabbanan. Maaseh b'chasid echad shaya mispalel baderech. There was a Maaseh with a chasid, a tzaddik, who was davening on the way, on the road, and a very important minister came and said, hello, and this chasid is not answering him. So the minister asks, excuse me, what are you doing? He doesn't answer, so he waits until he's done. When he's done, he says to him, doesn't it say in your Torah, you should watch yourselves exceedingly? When I said hello, why didn't you respond? Tell me, what would happen if I would take your head off. Who would come to me and say anything? I can do that, you know. And the Chazal says to him, you know, if you would have been standing and talking to the king and your friend comes, would you say hello? He says, certainly not. And if you would have, what would they do to you? And the minister says, they would cut my head off with a sword. So the Chazal says to him, it's a kal v'chomer. If you tell me you would stand in front of a melech basav adam, human being, a king, today is here, tomorrow is in the grave, and you wouldn't say hello to anyone else. I was standing in front of Melech Malchei Amlochim, King of all kings, Kodesh Baruch Hu, who lives forever. Allah has kama v'chama, how much more so I can't talk to you when I'm talking to Kodesh Baruch Hu. And the minister accepted this. The Magen Avraham and Orach Chaim Siman Kuf Daled Aleph writes, you must say that this Chassid was sure that the minister will accept his answer. Which means, even though it seems that it was a pikuach nefesh, this chassid knew or thought that it was not a pikuach nefesh, and that is why he did what he did. Similar to this, we find in Did R Shmuel, Moshe Feinstein, Zecher Tzadik Levochen, Pashas Vayishlach. Yaakov Avinu organizes his children, his wives, get ready to meet Esav. It's dangerous. The pasuk says in Perek Lamed Gimel, pasuk Beis, Vayasem es hashpachos le'es yaldehen Rishoina. Rishoina ve'es Leah ve'yeladei achroinim ve'es Rachel ve'es Yosef achroinim. Rashi explains, why did he put Leah and her kids all the way in the back, then Rachel and her kids all the way in the back, Achroin Chaviv. Reb Moshe Feinstein says, my son Reuven asked me, how is it possible? Dinei nefashos, Yaakov Avinu makes a prioritization, we'll put these people in the back, it's less dangerous. Why did he do this? And Reb Moshe Feinstein answered his son, as he writes, it is clear that Yaakov Avinu knew that everybody will live. HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised him so, but he just was afraid that because of perhaps he sinned, so they're going to be taken in captivity. But he knew that all the miracles that were performed for him, he passed across the Jordan River with a staff. Kfitzas Haderech, being saved from the hands of Lavan, this was not done just because the Kodesh Baruch Hu tomorrow will kill his children. It was clear to him that it's not a pikuach nefesh, and therefore he did what he did, even though from the pasuk it seems that this is not what the pasuk says, because Yaakov Avinu says if Esav comes to one group and will strike them, it seems from the simple reading of the pasuk that he was afraid of sakanas nefashos, but that is what Reb Moshe says. In summary, Reb Shmuel Bar Sosatai did a tremendous Kiddush Hashem, tremendous mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem, where it could be that there was no pikuach nefesh, even though that's what it seems from the simple reading of the story in the Gemara. Al Kol Panim, we will end in the same way we started. Hashavas Aveda, a tremendous mitzvah that in reward for doing this mitzvah, Kodesh Baruch Hu, measure for measure, will do the same for us. If we return lost items, Kodesh Baruch Hu will return us, his lost nation, return us to where we're supposed to be. Bring us back. Mashiach Tzidkenu, Beis Tifartenu, Bekorov Beyameinu. Amen.